I'm Jim Check. You're watching Now Media with me, Dennis Storozhuk. There you go. And your third time here now. Third time, yeah. We should have a regular show, I think.
Yeah, I like the view.
I messed up your name. And then yesterday you guys celebrated Vyshivanka.
Yes.
Vyshivanka Day. And that was an annual celebration, but it even means more right now.
Oh, yeah. It's a pretty new holiday, although very old reason for the
old
holiday.
Tradition, yeah.
It's celebrated like for 19 years, every third Thursday of May. And Vyshivanka means embroidery shirt that has hundreds and hundreds years of history in Ukraine, in all regions of Ukraine, and that's what I'm wearing right now.
Embroidery is, obviously rich in that culture, like in the dress and stuff like that.
Vyshivat means to make embroidery. That's why it's the name. But last 3 years it has special importance because first of all, so many Ukrainians moved out of the country. Millions and millions, and that's occasion for them to meet,
come together,
show their
national pride,
cultural heritage, and show the people around that Ukraine still exists and still fights.
Right.
And it has important meaning. Like one thing that interesting that appeared only after the war started is green color, Vyshivanka in the color of military uniform, green with black embroidery, and it has a special meaning, like supporting soldiers at the front lines, basically. So it's
and
uniting.
That's the color President Zelensky kind of he wears that same
his favorite color,
right?
All these patterns have a special meaning, and they're different in different regions of Ukraine.
Does it have ties to the Ukrainian eggs too, like the decorative eggs kind of thing? Because it's a lot of decoration on the eggs too.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. But I mean, look at that egg; it's pretty impressive, right? Those Ukrainian eggs. Right?
Yeah. And actually, Vyshivanka is also part of your human cultural heritage. It's recognized by UNESCO 2 years ago as like worldwide cultural heritage, because it has special meaning and so on. So
and you guys were at the sales yesterday. We got a picture of that.
Oh yeah. We started to get together every year since the war started. Before that, the Ukrainian population of Kelowna was too small.
Maybe if we put that image up there, you can actually share it on as it goes up there. You can share that, share the feed here. You can jump on you want to share?
Oh yeah. I can.
We can just talk about there. So so there's obviously the Ukrainian flag and a bunch of people out there in front of the sales there.
And about quarter of these people are not recent Ukrainian immigrants, but people who have Ukrainian roots, heritage.
Right. You had a young lady here last time you and I met though too. No, or was it two young ladies that came on their own?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, many people come. And this year we did not have many people, regrettably, but we had nice samples of Vyshivanka in the group, all different.
Big community in Edmonton, though, too, right? Like, I know when I was in Edmonton, big Ukrainian community there.
Oh yeah. Edmonton has the biggest one, and what happened? Many Ukrainian refugees come to Edmonton after the war started, and as a result. Some of them moved to Kelowna now because the climate is too harsh.
They figured out the weather.
They did not research in advance.
I spent 10 years in Edmonton.
Yeah.
The city of champions and the city of snowbanks. I think you get two seasons in Edmonton, July and winter. Beautiful city, though. Beautiful city. City champion. Well, it was. I don't think they call it the city champions anymore. But outside of Edmonton is Beggarville, that giant egg.
Yes.
You can go to that. It's kind of like a tourist stop. Right?
Well, we hope something of Ukrainian heritage will come up in Kelowna pretty soon. We are working on the mural
Maybe we'll
project.
go there and steal that egg and put it here.
Or we can build bigger egg.
Build a bigger one. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Obviously, still lots of tension, right? Like there's no resolution. Lots of talk of resolution now. More talk anyway than in the past little while. But I guess like it's kind of a roller coaster though too, right? Hope and then gone, and hope and gone, and
I think the whole idea of this peace talks it come from pressure from Trump, right? Who would like to put it as one of his achievements, right? And it happened not so easy as he thought.
Yeah, he said he would have it done before he took office.
Yes.
And then then he said, "Give me 100 days," and then
100 days. Yeah. But what happened is that at the end of February, he had this conversation in White House with President Zelensky that did not turn nice, but he was trying to apply the pressure to Zelensky to
that went sideways.
Sideways, but then it fixed itself. And basically Zelensky did not even want to negotiate, but then Trump convinced him to, so Zelensky is full open, all good.
It seems like the Ukrainian side is more than willing at this point to talk.
Absolutely.
I mean, it seemed at first reluctance, and then all of a sudden now it seems like the Ukrainian side is more than willing to talk, and then Putin is playing some games now.
Yeah, and what happened just at the beginning of this week, Putin had first ever night press conference in Kremlin. Journalists were waiting for him for 1.5 hours. Probably well, he wake up and he came and said, "Oh, I'm ready for peace talks. Let's do it in Istanbul." He called the meeting. Yeah, he called the meeting. Let's do it in Istanbul. May 15th. Let's do it. Right? And he just did it to show Trump that he's willing. He was all the peace guy, right? And then Zelensky come in and said, "Yeah, I'll go. No problem. I'll meet Putin face to face." And then Putin.
And that's a first, though, because that's a big thing. Because at first they said the two of them said they wouldn't talk to each other.
Yeah, because Zelensky actually, it's funny. A couple of years ago, he made a law that prevent himself to meet and negotiate with Putin. But now he basically withdraw it and trying to show the world that it's not him who is.
I mean, there's so many young people, not even young people, lots of people dying every week, right? I mean, I don't know if the numbers are.
Thousands.
Trump is saying it's 5,000 a week that are.
I hope not, but I think it's close. It's close to at least if you count heavily injured. And people become
one is too many. One is too many. Right?
Exactly.
So
and Putin just came up, and then when Zelensky said, "Yeah, sure, let's meet," Putin said, "Oh, I'm busy. I'm busy on 15th. Yeah, but I'm busy. I'll send my." Like not even like third grade kind of.
Yeah, they're sending low-level aides.
Very low-level
aides. Yeah. I know. I watched the press conference with Marco Rubio this morning, and he was saying it was low-level aides. And so they're sending low-level, like low-level American people too. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of like matching like who's showing up at these meetings, right? But Trump has said, "Putin wants a meeting. I'm there."
Yeah, exactly. And he was close by in Saudi Arabia. So I think now it's clear finally to Trump and to many people in the world that it's all was Russian propaganda, that Ukraine does not want peace and so on. So now it's finally clear.
I mean, I think one of the things that seems to me, at least, is that it seems like we know who the players are that need to meet in the room, right? Trump, Putin, and Zelensky, right? The three of them need to, because I don't think they're really involving any.
And Trump
Erdogan is doing a lot of work, I think, too, like trying to get things going. And I think a lot of the country. I think that Middle East tour that Trump just did may play a role in weakening Russia because he kind of got the Middle Eastern countries to kind of play ball with the U.S., which takes away some strength from the Russians too. Right? So hopefully. Well, again, like there's still people suffering there. What can people do in Kelowna? Obviously, you guys have a Facebook page and share your support.
Kelowna stands with Ukraine.
Yeah,
it says right here. We have our organization that was formed right on the day the war started has three main directions. First is helping Ukrainian army, like we trying to send the pickup trucks to the front lines because they usually live there for a few days and then destroy it. So it's big necessity. So we fundraising for the
just
shipment.
Equipment and stuff
for the shipment of pickup truck. We already bought the pickup truck, but need to ship it, and it's it's about $5,000 to ship it to Ukraine. So that's what we're fundraising for. Second part is helping Ukrainians here refugees. It's like in the beginning when they were coming, there were a lot of problems, questions, and so on. Right now, they pretty much all settled, all find work, or 2 works or 3 works at the same time, very hardworking people. Their main problem is that it looks like Canada does not want them.
Yeah, so that's, I interviewed the 2 young people, and they were saying that they're having a tough time getting permanent residency.
Exactly.
And it seems like there seems to be, I don't understand that. I don't get that at all. Like what? Like that seems like when you want to sign with a pen, they want to act like a big shot, sign with a pen, just sign the pen. Just sign it.
Yeah,
right?
like we're extremely lucky in Canada. We got 300,000 of the best hardworking people in the world.
There's no doubt Ukrainians work hard.
Yeah, and who came here on work permit to work, not to receive social assistance or whatever. And they are working. They are settled. They learn English and so on. And their main problem right now is that everybody is on the edge of their seat and waiting when they will be kicked off from Canada.
It doesn't make sense to me. It just really doesn't make sense to me. Like they lots of pomp and circumstance when they want to sign things, and this seems like a cut and dry, simple issue to me. You know what I mean? Like here's people suffering, like real refugees from a war.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
From a war. And it seems like, you can just like...
But it's also good for Canada, for our economy, for our demographic problem, for everything. I talked to Stephen Furr just before his election in Kelowna about the idea of doing an electronic petition for all Canadians to sign, basically asking Ministry of Immigration just make this decision, simplify the pathway for Ukrainians who are already here. And I hope you'll be working on that. So if you sign up to our Facebook page, then you will see when it's there, and you can put your signature there, and hopefully it will influence the government to make the right decision, not only from a moral perspective, but also from economic perspective and from Canada future perspective.
Yeah, I know there was a young man here, the 2 that was coming of age and would be forced back there. And obviously, if he's of age and he's forced back there, he's in the front line, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not even like he's basically sending him to a death sentence.
He's studying in school, high school online in Kelowna, and he also works full time to support his family. 17-year-old.
And you're sending him to the front line, basically.
Yeah.
Right? A kid.
Yeah. Stories like that does not make sense. And anyway, our third direction from the very beginning was also to get attention of community, and that's what I'm doing right now. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
To what's
you and I should have a show, actually.
Exactly.
Right? It's 3rd time already. Right?
Yeah. To get
maybe we can solve the problem. Nobody else seems to want to,
our motto from the very beginning was every drop counts.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's what happened. The reason Ukraine was able to survive first few months of the war when there was no help from any governments was due to organizations like us and people like you, citizens of Kelowna, who helped and sent these little drops to Ukraine that helped us.
Every life counts, every drop counts, everything, right? Everything you can do. I mean, and then, I know that Trump has said too that every week, he's saying 5,000 soldiers on both sides are
that
dying.
Sounds plausible, yeah.
I mean, that's 5,000 lives, 5,000 families affected. You know what I mean? And if it's your family member,
and tens of thousands people lose their limbs or get heavy injury.
And destruction to that infrastructure and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and think about PTSD.
Yeah, for sure.
When the war is over, what will happen to the soldiers who fight? Some of them.
I listened to that young girl that I interviewed here. She said, she remembers the first night when the bombs started to fall.
Yeah.
I mean, and then she was out of the country. I think the next day the family sent her away. But then her family's still there, though, right? So she still has that stress. She's here safe, but her family's still there. Her mother and father.
Yeah, my uncle is in Kyiv. Yeah, which is under constant bombardment.
Yeah, so they're lobbying missile and drones and all that stuff. It's
just to terrorize people. That's
the drones have got to be the worst. You know what I mean? It's a war of drones, really. Right?
Yeah, no, but I understand drones on the front line. It's just new type of warfare. But drones, long-range drones attacking the cities. Yeah. What's the military importance of that?
Yeah, terror. Right?
Just terror. Yeah. It's terrorist country. That's what Russia is. And what also very strange to me is there is a lot of Russians in Canada who actually brainwashed and support the aggression. So they just celebrated May 9th, they celebrated Victory Day. Like all the world
that's the Second World War. Though.
Yeah, but all the world celebrates May 8th as a Victory Day. Russia decided to celebrate May 9th just to be different. And they surrounded in all the propaganda linking how the World War II is linked to today's war that Russia fights.
Try to tie it to Nazis.
They try it all together. And they put so much propaganda in Facebook and so on. And the funny thing, they think that Canadian government and police protects them. So every time when there is, for example, Ukrainian protest, when they have this celebration or something, they say, oh, we will call police and police will take care of you and so on. And I'm just waiting for the day when all of this will be over, or when Canada officially will recognize Russia as terrorist state and all the people who spreading Russian propaganda in Canada.
You know, the sad thing is that many of the people, especially in the close part, they may have had family members on either side of that, because in the Russian and Ukrainian societies are very close too, right? And it's the leaders of these.
Families are separated in this way and so on. But that's one thing. But I just mean that tolerance of our government and our everything to Russian propaganda in Canada. It's people who are paid from Kremlin to spread this propaganda, to turn people against Ukraine, to reduce help to Ukraine, and they are allowed to act freely in Canada, and they're not afraid. They think that Canadian laws protect them and so on. So, but in Europe, they already started arresting these people and going to court for spreading Russian propaganda. Here, they do it freely, and they feel completely immune. So I'm just waiting when it will happen that it will be recognized that they are spreading the propaganda, and they should be, punished for that, or sent back to Russia if they like Russia so much. Nothing's happening.
I mean, we have the same thing going on with, the Palestinian protesters and the Israelis. You know what I mean? Like the same. So, there's a lot of hate and anger there too, and
it is, but it's a bit different because the history is so long. It's unclear how to resolve even this conflict between Israel and Palestine. There is not a single person who in charge of this conflict. With Russia, it's all different. It's just one person who started it, one person who can finish it, and they have so much propaganda.
All we can do is hope because I think the key to this. I mean, as we watch this unfold, the key to this is Trump that can check Putin, because I think that's the only person he respects.
That's the only hope was from the very beginning. When Putin and Zelensky started to fight, that did not look well. But now it's over. Thankfully, Trump is not an easy person, but I think like the same way Putin enjoys having this war, it just entertains him. I think in the same way, hopefully, Trump would enjoy to put an end to that in some way, and it could become his personal.
I think from what I've seen, there's a bit of respect, and I think that's, you know what I mean? Like even on the world stage, America has a lot of respect for him now.
Oh, Putin respects Trump for sure.
Yeah. And I think Trump is not scared to wield the American military. And I think that's the big thing. I think he's not scared. Like, you look at the situation with the Houthis. How long have they been dealing with the Houthis? And then all Trump did was bomb them for 50 days, and he said, okay, we got enough. That's enough. So that was they said they'd had enough. And maybe he needs to do the same thing, right?
Well, it's just showing strong will. I think will is what our world currently lacks of Western world. It does not show strong will. To help. Like even with the help to Ukraine, what it comes, it's just merely enough to survive.
There's a lot of backpedaling too. We're going to do, we're not going to do, we're going to do, we're not going to do. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of that went on that I think cost a lot of lives. And
I'm never personally was Trump supporter or anything, but it's just because he shows the only way out of this currently, other than Putin.
Even if you don't like Trump, he's the devil that's probably going to make it happen.
Yeah,
right?
do you know what I mean? That's a hope. That's
you know what I mean? Because again, the American military might is the strongest in the world. There's no denying that.
No,
And he's not scared to wield it, and that's the difference.
Yeah, before the war, Russian military was considered to be second in the world by power, but Ukraine clearly showed that it's not true.
I would say like their conventional forces are not that strong. They think they still have a large nuclear arsenal, largest in the world, but their conventional forces are not going to stand up to the Americans.
But they invested huge money in the last 20 years before the war in modernization, in the army and so on, and it all become like poof. Yeah. And because probably 3/4 of the money went to the Swiss accounts of the people responsible for defense procurement and so on.
Sounds like most governments.
I think it's just much more than most governments, really.
Sadly, people still suffer.
No, it's good. It was good for us, for Ukraine, that all this money went to Switzerland and Miami.
Oh, right, because the frozen the accounts, and then you can tap into it. Yeah. Again, go to the Facebook page, and then you can figure out how you can support every drop counts, like you said. Even showing up at some of the events is probably helpful, right? So.
Yeah, like our next big event is August 24th. It's Ukrainian Independence Day. We usually
hopefully we're celebrating that when they celebrate, when they have a peace treaty, at least a ceasefire. Yeah, we should talk when they have a ceasefire. Hopefully that's like next week, and any kind of ceasefire would be good, right?
Yeah, the next event, I think the Knox Mountain Climb is tomorrow. We will have the booth there. Okay. Yeah, you can come and talk to our people.
Lend your support and whatever, you have a donation or whatever. And
I think the very important thing is just to understand that a few points. First of all, it's the biggest war after World War II.
No doubt about it, and the most loss of life.
Yeah. Second is Russia is the main threat to Canada. We share the border.
That's our border, yeah. And most people don't realize that. Most people don't realize if you look at a globe.
Yeah. You have to look at the globe, not at the map.
Yeah.
That's
look at
the
difference.
Globe, right?
Yeah, look at the globe.
From above. And the Arctic line, like where the border is, it's still contested. There is no agreement.
Even the Chinese say they own some of that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, Chinese is number 2 problem, but Russians shown that they're much more crazier than Chinese. And if Putin would get bored, he could just attack Canada.
Yeah.
Why
but
not?
I mean,
Same way
I guess the only thing right now for us being in NATO, which is what Ukraine was talking about, is that like most of the defenses in the north are American forces. Like they have nuclear subs and warships and
yeah, but attacking with conventional forces as he did in Ukraine would not unlikely will provoke any nuclear response. So it shouldn't be counted. Yeah. But just like for example. In Facebook, I posted congratulations to Stephen for that he was assigned Minister of Defense Procurement, right? Yeah. And hopefully he'll be able to send some of our stockpiled ammunition we don't need and so on, equipment to Ukraine from Canada. And one of the commentaries was to this post that it's much more important to strengthen Canadian forces, which is true. But if Ukrainian army take our biggest enemy, and losing not only equipment but lives every day, it's basically saving Canadian lives in this way, and it would be makes much more sense to help Ukraine to fight our biggest enemy than to strengthen our forces that are 1/20th of U.S. forces anyway, and.
Again, hopefully, like I know that the people that need to sit at the table, I think we all know that who need to sit at that table, and I think there's some pressure being put on Putin right now from an economic sense, and I think he'll understand that more. The economic sense, though, from the rest of the world, like from the Middle East and that too, like because he had some really good dealings with Saudi Arabia and all that stuff, and they tried to start their own BRICS. Kind of like currency, and then I think Trump has put an end to that too.
But I personally don't think it matters at all because Russia loses billions of dollars every day on the war. Yeah. Putin does not care. you know, it's just his favorite toy. He's like 70-something years old. He already had all this his money in the world that he can take, all the power in the world he can take. Now he just enjoying war because it's like keeps him, you know, not only alive but on the mind of people and so on. So that's what needs to be understood. That unless there is some danger to his own life, he's not going to do anything. Like economic pressure.
Well,
and so
all we can do is hope. Like you know, like because they have not had that meeting yet, Trump and Putin, right? And hopefully they.
Well,
have that
I think the meeting will happen sooner or later this year. I don't think it's unlikely, but what will be the result of this meeting? That's what I have high doubts.
I'm just saying, like you know, hopefully.
But it's the only hope.
But we're at least talking that way as opposed to like a year ago. We weren't even talking about it. Right?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Like in this way, it's better because some, like for example, even in this Istanbul meeting, which was nothing, they still agreed to exchange prisoners of war, 1,000 to 1,000.
Yeah.
Still
something, right?
Yeah, still something.
Do you know what I mean? And most people don't understand this. Every war throughout history ends in negotiation.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who's winning or who's losing. Every war ends in negotiation.
It is, but what's different with wars in 21st century is that all the wars are always, they don't come to any result that was expected and always losing money and lives. And it does not make sense from economical perspective. Like, for example, Russia, okay, it took some territory from Ukraine, and the value of these territories is probably 1/10 of what they need to spend to rebuild it. So from economic perspective, this war, even if they take half of Ukraine, they will still lose much more money than they gain from that.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember a quote from Alexander the Great. It's really easy to invade a country. It's really hard to occupy a country, right? And that's been throughout history, right? And you know, like the Russians were in Afghanistan for what? 10 years?
10 years, yeah.
And then the Americans were there, what, 20 years?
Yeah.
See what I mean? Like, it's really hard, right?
And the Vietnam before that. It just doesn't make sense
It's
anymore.
easy to invade, and it goes way back to Alexander the Great. Really easy to invade a country.
Yeah.
Just really hard to occupy.
And Iraq and Libya, the same thing.
Right?
Yeah,
same
they
thing. Overthrow
bad person, but it become even worse after that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the Americans won that first Iraq war because they basically just did an air war and they backed out, right? They didn't try to occupy,
no occupation.
Right? No occupation, right? They just bombed the heck out of it and then they went home, right?
Yeah.
And that's different. Occupation is a really hard thing. So, like, you know, even when Putin thinks he's going to occupy or keep a lot, it's very, very hard. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And so today on these negotiations, Russia asked for Ukrainian troops to withdraw like 200 kilometers and just seize this Ukrainian territory to Russia. And the reason being because Putin decided to include half of Ukraine in his constitution already. So basically, from his perspective, Ukrainian troops on Ukrainian territory somehow happen to be in the territory belonging to Russia because he signed it in the Russian constitution.
No. Nonsense. Anyway. You're at the Knox Mountain Hill climb tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then the next big celebration here is in August 20.
August 24, it's our celebration. We usually do it in downtown with everything. And July 1st, of course, our booth will be there, Pride Parade, and so on. But the best way so far is to get in touch through our Facebook page.
And then if you want to be on the egg building committee?
Well, we have a project.
Right next to the sales.
Yeah. We have a project to build a mural in Kelowna showing Ukrainian heritage, like from the first immigration at the end of 19th century, kind of going through generations and ending with immigration that we had now of 300,000 people who hopefully will become
citizens here,
right? And we also had the project that we put before City Council to make a Ukrainian garden somewhere in downtown, showing our traditional flowers and trees and so on. So we want to give back to community that supported us so much in this year.
Well, thank you for coming in again, and I'm sure you'll be in a couple more times. And We do thank you for watching Now Media.
I think it's a good idea to make, like maybe monthly update.
Sure,
about
we can do that.
situation
Yeah,
in
because I mean,
Ukraine or
it's on everybody's minds. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
We'll do a monthly thing.
And
so-
I can show unique perspective.
Yeah, you can bring some photos and stuff too, even
Yeah.
from Kiev and stuff
Yeah,
like that too.
yeah,
And we can
yeah.
actually share what's going on in the world. Yeah. There you go. Thank you for watching Now Media.
Thank you.
We don't just report the news, we live here too. We're your neighbors, bringing you stories that matter to all of us. No government funding, no outside influence. Kelowna Now, local, independent.